So good afternoon, everyone. So the next topic will be your digestive tract, no? Uh, so the digestive tract is there, of course, for the intake of food, for digestion, as well as the absorption of nutrients from the food that you eat and elimination of the waste products, no? Pero aside from that, uh, kasi yung our energy, all of the components of our body, a lot of it is derived from if not made by this body itself, a lot of it is derived from the food that we eat. Okay, so your digestive tract has a lot of different functions aside from digestion. Okay, so pag kumain ka, of course, so here are the functions of your digestive tract. Of course, when you introduce food into your body, into the oral cavity, the process is called ingestion. Pag pumasok na siya, matitikman mo yon. Okay? And the process is called gustation or when you taste kung ano yung kinain mo. Okay? What is the function? So why do we need to taste the food that we eat? Siyempre, that allowed us, our ancestors rather, to survive, no? Kasi titikman nila kung panis na ba yung kinakain nila, is it still safe for consumption or not, no? So, yung tikman nila, medyo maasim-asim na, ibig sabihin, microorganisms have started to grow on that particular thing, so it's probably not safe to consume anymore. So, it helps with survival. Kaya meron tayong sense of taste, no? So, that's gustation. And then, yung pagkain mo, nguyain mo to make it into smaller and smaller food particles in the process of mastication. So, it's chewing. Okay? Chewing divides your food into smaller digestible pieces para mas madali nang mag-act upon sa kanya yung mga digestive enzymes later on in the digestive tract. Okay? The food is then transferred or moved from the oral cavity to the rest of your digestive tract. In the process of motility, there are muscular movements, yung mga peristalsis na tinatawag, wherein the muscles help to propel the food towards the next portion of the digestive tract. Your digestive tract also produces a lot of secretions in the form of protective mucus, of course, kasi you have a foreign object going through your body. And your digestive enzymes, it also secretes alkaline and acidic fluid. Diba? Sa stomach natin, there is a lot of acid. Sa small intestine natin, there's a lot of bicarbonate, which is base. And then also there is secretion of bile. Okay? Your digestive tract also produces hormones. Okay? These hormones are usually for local control of motility and secretion of the substances I mentioned before. And then in the digestive tract, of course, you also secrete digestive enzymes that are responsible for chemical digestion. So, yung mga smaller food particles natin will be acted upon by these enzymes in order to make them into smaller and smaller macromolecules and their subunits. And then, once they're small enough, uh, this the this can now be absorbed into the bloodstream and transmitted throughout the body to provide whatever is needed kung saang mang parte ng katawan. And then, once everything that you can get from the food has been absorbed, the rest that is not needed is eliminated in the form of feces. Okay, so yun yung mga nangyayari sa digestive tract natin. Okay? So, of course, your digestion starts with food intake. Saan ba pumapasok yung pagkain? Sa oral cavity. Okay, the oral cavity is an opening, no? Uh, uh, Bounded anteriorly by the lips and bounded posteriorly by the palatoglossal folds. Okay, so ito yung harap, the lips, no? Meron taas, meron ibaba. And then, posteriorly sa may likod, yung palatoglossal folds. Palato, with reference to the palat. Okay, and then, glossal, ibig sabihin, malapit sa tongue, glossal folds. So, the folds along the tongue. Okay, so palatoglossal fold between the lips and the palatoglossal fold, that space inside is referred to as the oral cavity. Okay, your oral cavity is lined by the oral mucosa. The oral mucosa is stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Okay, some parts are partially keratinized pero mostly non-keratinized epithelium. Stratified and squamous kasi these regions are exposed to considerable friction. Okay? So, kaya makapal siya na epithelium, no? And yung, lalo na yung mga parts na very exposed to friction, mas nagkakaroon sila ng partial or full keratinization. For example, dito sa may hard palate mo, some parts of it is partly keratinized. Okay? Your oral cavity is also associated with salivary glands uh and in the saliva you also find enzymes. So a particular enzyme you find in the saliva is your salivary amylase. Okay, your salivary amylase is an enzyme responsible for the preliminary digestion of carbohydrates. So it digests the amylopectin found in plant sugars, no? So your amylose is starch. Okay? So galing siya sa animal, sorry. From plant carbohydrates, you break them down into uh smaller polysaccharides, okay? Polysaccharides, disaccharides, and some monosaccharides. So preliminary digestion of carbohydrates starts in the oral cavity pa lang when you mix saliva into your food bolus, okay? So, sabi natin, the anterior boundary is the lips. So, now let's look at the lips, no? So, your lips, meron tayong upper at meron tayong lower, and they're usually in contact with each other. Your lips is mobile, and the movement responsible, and the one responsible for the movement is the skeletal muscle, orbicularis oris. Orbicularis, kasi paikot siya, and then oris refers to the mouth. Okay? Your lips are divided, each of your lips, no, yung upper at lower, are divided into three regions. You have an external aspect, the one that is covered by skin, that has sweat glands and hair follicles, as well as sebaceous glands. Yung vermilion zone, which is the pinkish area, this one is covered by thin skin. It has highly developed capillary roots, kaya siya mamula-mula. And then, it has non-functional sebaceous glands and hair follicles. So, wala siyang buhok, wala siyang oil. Okay? So, this vermilion zone necessitates occasional moistening or uh, or moisturizing because yung glands niya is hindi gumagana. Kaya nga tayo nag-lip balm. Ito yung vermilion zone, yung kulay pink na area ng lips natin. And then, the internal aspect, yun yung inner portion of your lips that are always wet and has numerous mucus and minor salivary glands. Diba? So, you have your face. Okay, ito yung ilong mo. You have your nose. Okay? So, yung lips mo, ganyan. Okay? Pangit ng aking drawing, pero pagbigyan nyo na. Okay? So, the lip, yung dito yung ibabaw, that's the external aspect. Okay? Yung kulay pink na area na nakikita mo sa loob, sa labas, is that vermilion zone. Yung internal aspect, yung inner portion ng lips mo, pag tinurn up mo siya. Okay? Pag pinip mo yung lips mo, yung basang area dyan, that's the internal aspect, no? So, when you look at it underneath the microscope, it looks like this, no? So, side view, kunyari lips to. Okay. Okay? So, dito, yung external aspect, vermilion zone is this one. Okay? And then, the internal aspect is the area inside, no? So ito yung itsura ng lips mo when you look at it underneath the microscope. So, S here refers to the skin. Okay? Ito yung skin area. Ito yung may hair follicles. Ito yung may mga associated na glands, no? And then, in the middle, you have the vermilion zone. Okay? So, vermilion zone between the skin and the oral mucosa. Okay? So, you have vermilion zone. Dito yung area na manipis lang yung epidermis. And it's transparent, slightly transparent, kaya may siya ay mamula-mula. Kaya nakikita mo reddish because of the blood, no? And then this area, as we mentioned, walang glands, no? As you can see. So, wala siyang sweat glands, wala siyang sebaceous glands. So, it's prone to dryness, kaya kailangan ikaw ay nag-lip balm or sometimes occasionally lick your lips, lalo na sa dry weather, no? Kasi it can chap, no? And then inside is this area is the oral mucosa, okay? The lips also contain striated muscle as well as minor salivary glands. Okay? Lalo na dito sa may area, sa may loob, yung part of the lips, yung internal aspect of your lips, di ba? Associated with many minor salivary glands. Okay? So, next. So, uh, next portion, uh, another thing you see in your oral cavity are your teeth, no? So, teeth, uh, sila yung uh, hard portions found inside your oral cavity, mainly made up of calcium hydroxyapatite, yung ating enamel. So there we have two sets of teeth actually through our lifetime, no? Nung baby ka pa, nung bata ka pa, you had 20 teeth kung hindi ka nabungal, no? So the maximum was 20. You refer to that set as the deciduous or your milk teeth, no? Eventually these milk teeth get replaced, tas magiging eventually kung hindi ka na bawas ng ngipin, you develop the full set of 32 teeth, no? So per quadrant you have 8 teeth, di ba? So hinahati kasi yan usually ng mga dentist, no? Left and right, uh, and then syempre up and down. So no yung per quadrant you have 8, you have a central incisor, you have a lateral incisor, and then you have a canine. Canine yung pangil mo. And then you have 2 premolars and 3 molars. Okay, so yun yung per quadrant. So times 4 mo yun. So you have uh, 8 incisors in total, 4 canines, 8 premolars, and uh, 12 molars, no? So, ganun kadami yung ngipin mo in total, no? So, what are the parts of your teeth? First, of course, not part of your teeth, but part of your facial bone, rather, your mandible, kung sa baba, or your maxilla, kung sa taas, is your bony socket or alveolus. So, bony socket or alveolus, dito, nakasuksok yung ngipin natin. So, imaginein mo, di ba, pag ikaw ay may saksakan, okay? Imagine mo, mag-charge ka ng cellphone mo. Meron saksakan, di ba? Yung saksakan, ang English ng saksakan ay socket. Okay? So, kung side view yan, kunyari ito yung pader, di ba? Maglalagay ka ng charger mo, nakasuksok siya dito. Okay? From the side view. Okay? So, bony socket, isa socket is the saksakan. So, dito, doon sinusuksok yung ngipin. Okay? Doon nakasuksok yung ngipin mo. So, kung meron kang charger, di ba? Yung charger mo, yun yung ngipin. The socket is the socket. So, the alveolus. Okay? And yung teeth mo is attached by a periodontal ligaments made up of dense collagenous connective tissue. Okay? So, yung bone na saksakan is your bony socket or your alveolus. And then, your teeth is plugged in to this bony alveolus, no? And then, this tooth meron siyang root. Okay? Yung root yung nakasuksok doon sa loob ng alveolus, no? So, kung charger siya, yung bakal, nung charger mo, yung pinapasok mo sa saksakan, yun yung root of your teeth, no? So, it's the portion of the teeth that is housed within the alveolus. Okay? And then you have the cervix, which is the portion of the teeth between the crown and the root. So, crown yung nakikita nyo ano ba yun? Sa ibabaw. That is visible in the oral cavity. Okay? And then, uh, inside your teeth, from the inside going in, meron tayong tinatawag na pulp. Your pulp is made up of loose gelatinous connective tissue. Uh, it is extensively vascularized. Ibig sabihin, marami siyang blood vessels at marami siyang nerve supply. Kaya pag ikaw, sumakit ang ngipin mo dahil meron kang dental caries, hindi ka makagulapay kasi ang dami-daming nerve fibers dyan, no? Kasi it becomes very painful because the nerve fibers get stimulated, no? Kaya siya masakit. Okay? So, kapag yung dental caries mo umabot na sa pat, kaya siya naging sobrang sakit na. Okay? Above the pulp is your dentin. This one is yellowish. This is the second hardest, okay, substance. And then above the dentin is your enamel. Ito naman yung hardest substance in the human body. Si enamel, slightly translucent. So nire-reflect niya yung color ng dentin mo underneath. Okay? Your dentin tends to be slightly yellow. Okay? So odontogenesis or the synthesis, the genesis or the development of your teeth starts at 6 to 7 weeks age of gestation. So, in utero, when you are 6 to 7 weeks old, nagsisimula na yung pag-develop ng ngipin, no? And it is derived from the ectoderm. Okay? So, parang kanina din, yung ating respiratory tract, di ba, derived from the ectoderm. Yung digestive tract is also derived from the ectoderm. Okay? And then, you also have, di pala nabanggit, you have your cementum. Uh, this one is layer seen, restricted sa may root area. This one, uh, this one is restricted to the root area produced by cementocytes. Okay, so these have collagen fibers uh, from the periodontal ligament, and that suspends the tooth in the bony socket. So, tumutulong siya sa uh, fix ng tooth natin doon uh, sa alveolus, no? So, next portion of your oral cavity is your palate, no? So, your palate is the roof of your mouth, basically. So, it's divided into two. You have the hard palate, which is located anteriorly, or mas harap siya. And then, you have your soft palate, which is located posteriorly. So, may mas likod siya, okay? Yung pagkakaiba nila, the hard palate is, of course, hard because there is a bony shelf, okay? There's a bony shelf that makes it hard, no? Merong buto dyan sa ibabaw, okay? Okay? And then, sa soft palate naman, it's more movable because wala yung bone dun sa part na yon. And it has a skeletal muscular attachment. Okay, so may skeletal muscles attached to your palate to help it uh, elevate or depress, no? Kasi itong soft palate na to, it can move upwards or downwards. Depende. Okay, pag kumakain ka. Para pag kumain ka, yung kanin, hindi siya mapupunta sa may ilong mo, no? So it will go up para sarahan tong connection between the nasopharynx and the oropharynx, no? So, for example, you have your skeletal muscle, your levator veli palatini. It will elevate your palate para sumara dito. And then, tensor veli palatini will bring it back down. Okay? So, kapag tapos ka ng mag-swallow. Okay? So, what is the lining of your oral cavity? It's stratified squamous, sorry, uh, partially keratinized epithelium when you're talking about the hard palate. Kapag sa soft palate naman, it's non-keratinized. Okay? The hard palate, it's partially keratinized. Sa soft palate, it's non-keratinized. Okay? So, yun yung portion sa oral cav. Okay? Yung portion naman in the nasal cavity, of course, is lined by respiratory epithelium. Okay? Key thing to remember regarding your soft palate, the posterior most portion, merong extension na nakalawit dyan, di ba? Yun lagi nyo nakikita sa cartoons, no? That is your uvula. Okay? That one. Okay? Another thing you see in the oral cavity is your tongue, no? So your tongue is an extremely movable organ because it has a lot of intrinsic and extrinsic muscles. Okay, so it's a very strong muscle, no? Mayroong genioglossus, hyoglossus, palatoglossus. So maraming muscles involved that allows your tongue to move, no? Doon lang tayo sa surface area niya, no? So, kasi yung tongue muscles naman yan, discuss nyo yan sa anatomy and physiology. So, doon tayo sa tissue, histology portion, no? So, your tongue is divided into two. Meron tayong anterior, occupies 2/3 of the area, and then you have the posterior, which is 1/3 of the length, no? So, the anterior portion and posterior portion, may kita mo may demarcation, merong parang pa-V, okay? Sa gitna, your sulcus terminalis. So, the one in front is the anterior 2/3, the one at the back is the posterior 1/3, no? The anterior portion is smooth and velvety. Sorry, dito lingual tonsils. Okay. This is lingual papilla. Okay. So the anterior portion is lined anteriorly by lingual papilla. The posterior 2/3 is lined posterior is rough because of the presence of lingual tonsils. Okay. So papilla, yung nasa harap, yung nasa likod is tonsils. Okay. Yung tonsils na yun, kaya siya mukhang rough looking. It's this one. Okay. So what are your lingual papilla muna. Doon tayo sa anterior two-thirds, no? Papilla are nipple-like projections, di ba? Yun yung definition of the word, no? So, there are different types of papilla that you see on your tongue. You have four: your filiform, your fungiform, your foliate, and your circumvallate. So, sa pangalan naman, medyo nade-describe naman yung some of them, no? So, your valate or circumvallate, no? Your filiform is the most numerous, okay? So, yung pinakamarami. So, default papilla na makikita mo sa throughout the tongue that gives your tongue a velvety and smooth appearance is your filiform papilla. You also have your fungiform papilla. Fungiform kasi mukha siyang mushroom, which is a fungi, okay? So, it resembles a mushroom. It's vascular and appears like a red dot. No? So, pag tinitingnan mo yung dila mo, may makikita ka dyang dots na mas red than the rest. That's your fungiform papilla. Okay? And then you have your foliate. So, it resembles foliage or mukha siyang halaman. It's allegedly leaf-like in appearance. And it has deep vertical furrows. The vertical furrows contain ducts of minor salivary glands of von Ebner. Okay? And then you also have your valate or circumvallate papilla. These are the papilla along the sulcus terminalis. Doon yun sa may bandang, yung sa may dila na pavi, di ba? Ganyan yun. Okay? Sulcus terminalis yung V portion na nagsiseparate between your anterior and anterior two-thirds and the posterior one-third. Okay? So, the circumvallate papilla are the papilla along the sulcus terminalis. It also contains the glands of von Ebner. Okay? So, in your papilla, you also see what you call your taste buds. Okay, so your taste buds are intraepithelial sensory organs. The function, of course, is for the perception of taste. Okay? On the surface of the tongue, there are about 3,000 taste buds present. And you also see these taste buds in the posterior aspect of the oral cavity. Kaya meron kang aftertaste, di ba? And then, these taste buds are composed of 60 to 80 spindle-shaped cells. Ganito yung itsura niya in an oval structure. Okay, so at the ends of your taste buds, you have taste pore na tinatawag. Okay, this is yung ends nung spindle structure mo open at the taste pore. Okay, and the taste pore is the one that is near the surface. Okay, so this one is for the taste, no? Taste sensation. Okay, there are different types of cells you see in your taste buds. The type 1 cells are the young cells. The type 2 cells are the mature cells. Okay? In the middle is the type 3 cells or uh, your intermediate yung appearance siya. So, yung type 1 cells dark looking. Yung the type 1 cells are, type 1 cells are dark looking. Type 2 cells are light looking. Yung intermediate, yung itsura niya are your type 3 cells for old or senescent taste buds, no? And then, of course, you have basal cells that function as reserve for regeneration. So, ano yung mga taste modalities na ano natin? Well, of course, you have salty and sour. Detection is based upon the presence of specific ion channels. You have bitter and sweet. The taste is based on the presence of certain membrane receptors of your taste blood cells. And then more complex taste perception is mainly due to olfaction rather than taste buds themselves, no? So, kaya, di ba, pag may sipon ka, mas affected yung panlasa mo. Okay? Kasi a large majority of your sense of taste is actually dependent on your olfactory apparatus. Okay? So, naitsura ng ating mga papila. Okay? So, this one, fungiform, yung letter F. Fungiform kasi mukha siyang mushroom. Fungiform papilla. You have your filiform papilla. Filiform papilla. Okay? Filiform papilla. Yung elevations niya are pointy. Okay? And more heavily keratinized. Kaya may mga naka-float na ganyan, di ba? That's keratin. Okay? Heavily keratinized and pointy yung appearance ng filiform papilla. Fungiform papilla is more dome-shaped. Okay? So, majority is still filiform papilla. Okay? This one is a micrograph of a large valate papilla. Di ba? So, ito yung Ito yung nakikita sa may sulcus terminalis. Okay, meron siyang tinatawag na ah meron siyang mga cleft dito sa gilid ng ating valate papilla, di ba? These are moats. Dito, napupunta yung mga mucus na pinoproduce ng um, surrounding cells, no? So, and in this clefts, dito located actually yung mga taste buds natin. Okay? Dito sa mga clefts na to. Okay? Okay? So, tapos na tayo sa oral cavity. Pagkatapos mo ng nguyain yung pagkain mo, pag nilunok mo na siya, it will now go through what we call the alimentary canal. Okay, it's the continuation of the oral cavity. It's the tubular portion of the digestive tract where food is mixed, liquefied, digested, absorbed, and eliminated. Okay, it's the entirety of our alimentary canal is about 9 meters long. It's divided into several regions from the esophagus to the stomach. Pagdating ng stomach, pupunta ng small intestine. Small intestine divided into three, duodenum, jejunum, ileum. Pagdating ng ileum, pupunta ng large intestine. Akyat ng ascending, dadaan ng transverse, bababa ng descending colon, sigmoid, and then rectum to the anus. Okay? So, yun yung alimentary canal natin. Okay? This alimentary canal has a general plan that is followed consistently by most of its ano no. So, meron lang siyang key differences. Similar to your respiratory tree, di ba? Yung respiratory tree mo, pare-parehas lang. Merong respiratory epithelium, tapos may lamina propria, may smooth muscle, may adventitia. Dito sa alimentary canal, meron din siyang fina-follow na general plan, yung layers of this gastrointestinal tract. Okay? Okay? So, the layers of the alimentary canal, of course, mucosa. Ang mucosa. Mm, muscularis. Okay, so yun yung general uh, layers of your alimentary canal. Mucosa, submucosa, muscularis externa, and your adventitia or serosa. So the first and the innermost layer, the one close to the lumen is your mucosa. Your mucosa is lined by epithelium. And underneath the mucosa, you have a lamina propria, which is a loose connective tissue layer filled with glands and blood vessels, lymph vessels, and nodules. Okay? And that layer is surrounded by a smooth muscle layer called the muscularis mucosae. So, ganito yung itsura niya. So, ito yung gastrointestinal wall ng gastrointestinal tract mo, no? So, yung lumen, itong area na to, this is the lumen, okay? When you zoom it in, you have epithelium, okay? Beneath the epithelium is the connective tissue layer, si mucosa. Si lamina propria. And beneath the lamina propria, you have smooth muscles, your muscularis mucosae. Okay? And then underneath that, uh, uh, submucosa na yun. Okay? So, pagdating nun, so, hiwalay pa yung mucosa sa submucosa. And then underneath the submucosa, okay? Ito yun, oh, submucosa. You have your muscularis. Okay, so sa muscularis, this one is the large, uh, uh, is the muscle layer surrounding your digestive tract, the major muscle layer. And then, your surrounding connective tissue can be adventitia, can be serosa, or yung peritoneum natin. Okay, kapag sa abdominal cavity na. Okay, so, your mucosa is like this. So underneath the mucosa is your submucosa. Your submucosa is made of dense, irregular, fibroelastic connective tissue. Okay, so wag kayong ma-confuse. The lamina propria is loose connective tissue. Your submucosa is dense, irregular connective tissue. It's the toughest portion of your alimentary canal, no? Dense, irregular city dyan. It houses glands. The submucosa of the esophagus and the duodenum contains glands. The submucosa of everything else also contains blood vessels and lymph vessels. So what is the key thing you have to remember regarding your submucosa? In the submucosa, you find your Meissner's plexus. Okay, your Meissner's plexus is a nerve plexus that forms a parasympathetic role. It controls glandular secretion. Okay, so kung magsisecrete ba ng more substances or magdi-decrease ba ng secretion, it's controlled by Meissner's plexus. So how do you remember? Kasi meron pa isa tayong plexus na ma-encounter. Tandaan nyo, si Meissner plexus has two S's. One is, it's located in the submucosa. The other is that it controls glandular secretion. Okay? So, for glandular secretion, you have Meissner's plexus. It's located in the submucosa. Okay? So, next, you have your muscularis externa. Ito ngayon yung muscle layer na makapal surrounding your GI tract, no? It's a thick, smooth muscle layer responsible for peristalsis. Kasi your alimentary tract, you can imagine it as a tube, di ba? Okay? Meron tayong inner circular muscle layer. Meron din tayong outer longitudinal muscle layer. Para saan si inner circular muscle layer? Pag nag-constrict yan, ano mangyayari? Magkakaroon ng decrease in diameter. So, pwede mo siya actually gamitin ipang chop-chop ng food particles. No? Itong pag-constrict nitong muscularis. You can also use it to push your food along. Okay? And then, the outer longitudinal naman is pag can change the length of this tube, no? So, pwede niya actually gamitin din yon to propel the food forward to the next portion of the alimentary canal. Kaya meron kang inner circular and outer longitudinal layers. So, magkaiba sila ng uh, movement. Isa for constriction, yung isa for pushing the food bolus along, no? Key thing to remember in their muscularis externa is the presence of your myenteric or your Auerbach's plexus, okay? So this myenteric or Auerbach's plexus also has a parasympathetic function. This one naman is for peristalsis or motility. Okay, so kanina meron tayong Meissner's, dito meron tayong myenteric. Okay, tandaan si myenteric, may my sa pangalan, so alam natin muscle is Mayo, di ba? Pag Mayo, refers to muscle. So, this plexus is located in between the inner circular and the outer longitudinal layers. Okay? Yung Meissner's, siya yung nasa submucosa, responsible for secretion. Okay? And then, outside the muscularis externa is the adventitia. Okay? So, adventitia is connective tissue covering of your alimentary canal, no? It's the outermost uh, layer, no? So, depende sa location of the organ involved kung ang of covering niya is adventitia or serosa, no? So, certain portions are covered by adventitia, certain portions are covered by serosa. So, yung serosa, siya yung tinatawag nating peritoneum, okay? Similar to your pericardium, di ba? Meron tayong visceral pericardium, meron tayong parietal pericardium. Pag sa heart, di ba, yung sinabi natin, your heart is, di ba, meron kang heart, tapos may covering siyang pa ganyan, di ba? That's pericardium. Yung organs natin sa digestive tract also may covering din na ganon. But instead of calling it pericardium, of course, you call it peritoneum. So, yung peritoneum, meron din siyang visceral peritoneum, meron din tayong parietal peritoneum. Okay? The peritoneum that, for example, this is a portion of your small intestine. Okay, kunyari. Okay, so stomach. Yung layer closely adherent to the organ itself is the visceral peritoneum. The parietal peritoneum is the lining, is the one that lines the uh, abdominal wall, no? So, yung nakadikit sa organs mo is your visceral peritoneum. So, this one is smoother yung appearance niya. Yung adventitia naman, it's connective tissue, rougher, attachment lang talaga siya to the body wall. Okay? So, next. So, tapos na tayo doon sa general structure of the layers of the alimentary canal, no? You have your mucosa, then your mucosa, and then your submucosa. Beneath the submucosa is your muscularis, and then your adventitia or serosa, depending on the organ. Okay? So, now let's go to the organs that make up your alimentary canal. Okay, so the first one, of course, is the esophagus. Okay, the esophagus is a 25 centimeter muscular tube that conveys the food bolus from the oropharynx to the stomach. Okay, it's lined by stratified squamous, non-keratinized epithelium. And this epithelium has glands in the submucosa. Of course, the glands there produce mucus. Siyempre, for lubrication, para hindi nagagasgas yung submucous, yung esophagus mo tuwing lumulunok ka ng pagkain. And it also contains, uh, it also, and the cells also contain granules that contain pepsinogen and lysozymes. Kasi yung next step of digestion mo occurs in the stomach, no? So, doon na nangyayari yung preliminary digestion of proteins. Okay? So, in the esophagus, you have what do you have to remember regarding the structure of your esophagus, no? The muscularis externa of your esophagus, actually, hindi siya smooth muscle lahat, no? So, the upper one-third of your esophagus is made up actually of skeletal muscle. Okay, so upper one-third is made up of skeletal muscle. The lower one-third is made up of entirely smooth muscle na. So, yung in-between nun, yung middle one-third, transition siya between the skeletal and the smooth muscle. Okay? The outermost layer also of your esophagus also varies depending on which part of the esophagus you're talking about. The upper part is covering is adventitia until your esophagus pierces the diaphragm. So above the diaphragm, the outer covering is adventitia. Okay? Below the diaphragm, the outermost covering is serosa. Okay? So this is smoother. Okay? Key thing to remember also regarding your esophagus, meron siyang dalawang physiologic sphincter. Okay? Physiologic, not anatomic. Okay? You have your pharyngo-esophageal sphincter sa ibabaw. And then, the more clinically relevant is your gastroesophageal sphincter. Okay? The gastroesophageal sphincter uh, is the one that is the one geared towards preventing reflux of stomach acid back into the esophagus, no? So magkaiba kasi ng epithelium yung stomach mo doon sa epithelium uh, ng esophagus mo. Your stomach is more well equipped to deal with stomach acid. Of course, kasi siya na siya doon. Yung esophagus mo, hindi siya dapat masyadong na anuhan ng acid kasi hindi naman siya uh, adapted to that low pH level, no? So, kaya meron ka dapat gastroesophageal sphincter. Pero minsan, the sphincter tone is not quite enough, kaya nagkakaroon ka nung tinatawag nating GERD, yung gastroesophageal reflux disease. Pag yung gastroesophageal sphincter mo is medyo maluwag, may tendency umakyat yung acid pataas, no? So yung sphincter mo, hindi naman natin siya basta-bastang mapapasikip yan. So, what do we do? Usually with these patients with GERD, we just give them proton pump inhibitors. No? So, ito yung nagpapababa ng acid secretion sa stomach para hindi na siya masyado mag-produce ng acid. So, para kahit mag-reflux, hindi siya sobrang lala. Okay? So, doon na tayo ngayon sa stomach. Pag nakadaan na yung pagkain mo sa esophagus, no? So, your stomach is the most dilated portion of the digestive tract. It accommodates up to 1.5 liters of food and gastric juices at maximum distension, no? So, pag nanguya mo na yung pagkain mo, pupunta na siya nguyain mo, lulunin mo, dadaan sa esophagus, makarating siya sa stomach. The food from fruit bolus will be processed into something called chyme. So that's a liquidy mixture of the food bolus, no? Nang na-liquefy na siya. How is it liquefied? By the action of the turning uh, movements of your stomach muscles, as well as the action of the hydrochloric acid found inside your stomach, as well as the digestive enzymes. Okay, so quick review of your stomach anatomy, di ba? You have 4 portions of your stomach. The fundus is this one. The cardia is this one kasi yun dyan malapit sa heart. And then, you have the body of your stomach and the pylorus malapit sa exist. Nandun din yung pyloric sphincter. Okay? If you recall, the layers of your stomach, merong tatlo. Di ba? Sabi natin kanina, the muscularis externa has 2 layers. Meron tayong inner circular and outer longitudinal. Okay? The sole exception is your stomach. Kasi your stomach has a third layer, which is called the oblique. Okay? Oblique layer. So, itong stomach natin, mas marami siyang movements na pwedeng gawin. Kasi nga, it can, ang purpose ito is to churn down your food para maging kaim siya, maging liquefied siya. Okay? So, marami siyang nagagawang movements. Okay? Because it has a third muscle layer. Okay, mag-zoom up. Okay? So, your stomach has mucosal and submucosal folds that allows it to distend yung folds na tinatawag natin, rugae, di ba? And the epithelium has invaginations forming gastric pits, and the pits have gastric glands in each pit, no? So, yung gastric pit, yung invaginations, yung mucosal and submucosal folds, yun yung tinatawag natin rugae. Rugae. Yung gastric pits, siya naman yung alveoli. Okay? So, tingnan natin closely yung itsura ng ating stomach, no? Yung mga folds siya dyan. Okay? And when you look closely, ito yung mga different types of cells you see in the stomach, no? You have your surface cells, surface lining cells, your mucous neck cells, parietal cells, chief cells, and enteroendocrine cells or your argentaphine cells. So, 5 major cell types. Okay? The most important of which, for exam purposes, are your parietal cells and your chief cells, no? So your what are the cells you see on the stomach, no? Your surface lining cells. These are simple columnar cells that secretes alkaline fluid containing mucin. Okay, this line the lumen of your stomach and the gastric pits. It secretes a highly viscous mucus layer. Okay, yung may mucin dyan. Which is rich in bicarbonate. So, anong purpose nitong mucus layer na to? It's to protect your stomach from digestion, no? Bakit? Kasi syempre, your stomach, as we know, produces a lot of hydrochloric acid. Acid by itself can denature your proteins. And your body is made up of proteins. So, kung unchecked yung hydrochloric acid dyan, wala kang barrier. Your stomach will digest itself, no? Kasi sobrang acidic ng pH ng stomach mo, it's 0 to 2. So, sobrang baba ng pH niyan, malulusaw siya. Para may muriatic acid dyan. No? So there is this mucus being produced by your surface lining cells in order to protect your stomach from auto-digestion. Okay? Next, you also have your mucous neck cells. Mucous neck cells. Yung color pink dito, sa may neck siya, banda. Okay? And these mucous neck cells also secrete mucin. So, surface lining and mucous neck cells, nagtutulungan sila to produce mucus, no? Okay? And then, the key cells you have to remember are your parietal cells. Okay? Parietal cells is high yield. Parietal cells produce hydrochloric acid. Okay? It produces hydrochloric acid. It produces what you call intrinsic factor. Okay? So, tandaan nyo yung dalawang sinisikret ng parietal cells. It produces hydrochloric acid. It produces intrinsic factor. Okay? Intrinsic factor. What is intrinsic factor? It is a molecule or a factor necessary to absorb vitamin B12. Okay, vitamin B12. Okay, vitamin B12 is very important vitamin for the production of your red blood cells. Okay, so when you don't have enough vitamin B12, it can lead to something called pernicious anemia. Okay, pernicious anemia kapag wala kang vitamin B12. Okay? Wala kang vitamin B12 kung kulang ka ng intrinsic factor because in order to absorb vitamin B12, you need intrinsic factor. Okay? So, next, your parietal cells produce hydrochloric acid. Parietal cells produce hydrochloric acid. So, ito yung target cell actually ng ating mga anti-GERD therapies, no? Para i-decrease yung acid production. Like your proton pump inhibitors, yung mga histamine inhibitors natin. Dito yon, no? histamine receptor blockers natin, dito yun sa ano, sa parietal cells, yung tina-target mo. Okay? Next, you have your chief cells or your zymogenic cells. Chief cells or zymogenic cells. Zymogen is the inactive form of an enzyme. So, alam mo na si chief cells ang nagre-secrete ng ating pepsinogen. Okay, pepsinogen. Tandaan, nogen na, not pepsin. Hindi ka magse-secrete ng pepsin lang. Kaya you always secrete it in inactive form. It's a form of control, no? Para hindi basta-bastang na-activate. Okay, chief cells secrete pepsinogen, not pepsin. Okay, pepsinogen. It also secretes gastric lipase. Okay, lipase. So, lipase digests lipids or fat. Okay, yung chief cells natin. Okay? And then, so ito yung tatandaan nyo mainly sa stomach natin. Your parietal cells and your chief cells. Okay? Your stomach also has endocrine cells, no? So, endocrine, alam natin, associated with hormones. So, entero because it's in the gastrointestinal tract. Okay? So, enteroendocrine cells secretes hormones such as serotonin, secretin, gastrin, somatostatin, cholecystokinin, and glucagon. So, marami siyang uh, endocrine and paracrine functions. Okay? So, this, so yun yung five different cell types that you majorly see in your stomach. Okay? So, as you can see here, beneath the sa may mucous neck cells, diba yung color pink, and then yung parietal cells mo, your chief cells mo, and your G cells or enteroendocrine cells, nandito sila sa may bandang ibabang portion ng gastric ng mga gastric pits natin. No? Nandito sila sa baba. Pinakadulo ng clips. Makikita yung ating mga gastric glands. Okay? So, tandaan nyo to. Ito. If you actually want to study, tandaan nyo lang to. Kasi nandito naman yung mga high yield. This image. Okay? Nandiyan na si intrinsic factor, si hydrochloric, si pepsinogen, si gastric lipase, gastrin. Okay? Gastrin stimulates the secretion of hydrochloric acid. Okay? So, ito yung itsura ng ating stomach. Okay? So, itsura ng ating stomach wall. Okay? So, you can see here. M is your mucosa. Of course. M is your mucosa. V are blood vessels. Yan, yung mga bilog-bilog na yan. Okay? So, beneath the mucosa is the submucosa. Underneath the submucosa is the muscularis externa. And then, serosa sa outside. Kasi stomach to. Sa stomach, nandaan, ang outside. Outside is not adventitia, but it's serosa. Okay? Serosa kapag sa stomach. Okay? Okay, so try natin i-zoom in. Okay, ito yung tinatawag na gastric pits, no? Okay, and when you zoom it in, ganito yung itsura niya. Sa ibabaw, nandun yung ating surface mucous cells, yung ating surface lining cells, and then your mucous neck cells, okay? Mas malalim sa mucous neck cells yung ating mga parietal cells, as well as your chief cells, no? So, yung pinakaibabaw, surface lining cells, your mucous neck cells, sa mas baba mo na makikita yung parietal cells and chief cells. Okay? Next, tapos na tayo sa stomach. Now, let's go to the small intestine, the longest portion of your digestive tract. Your small intestine is 5 meters long. Okay? The primary function of which is to digest the food and absorb the nutrients from the food that you ate. Okay? So, there are three portions to your small intestine. The shortest one is your duodenum. Ito yung kadugtong ng stomach mo mismo. And then, after the duodenum is the jejunum. It's very vague where the basta yung duodenum, alam mo kung saan siya natatapos. Yung jejunum, alam mo kung saan siya nag-start. Pero yung transition between the jejunum into the ileum is not very well demarcated, no? Just know that the portion of the small intestine closer to the colon is the one that is called ileum. Okay? So, your small intestine is because uh, it is optimized for absorption, meron siyang maraming surface modifications, no? So it has surface modifications to increase the surface area. Kasi kapag mataas ang surface area mo, there is more room for receptors, there is more room for channels through which your substances can pass through. So mas mataas ang surface area, mas madaling mag-absorb ng bagay-bagay. Kaya nga, yung small intestine modifications, when you put them all together, it increases the surface area of your small intestine by 400 to 600 times. So, ano yung modifications ng small intestine natin? Okay, let's zoom in. Okay, when you look at your small intestine grossly, kunyari, nag-resect kayo ng small intestine, kumuha kayo ng portion. Pag sinilip nyo yung itloob ng small intestine nyo, meron siyang tinatawag na circular folds. Yung circular folds na yun, you call them the plicae circularis or the valves of Kirkling. Okay? So, yung, ano niya, yung mucosa niya, merong mga folds na ganyan. Okay? The plicae circularis or the valves of Kirkling. It increases the surface area of your mucosa, no? By 2 to 3 times. Okay? So, ganito yung itsura ng circular folds when you look at it grossly. So, zoom in natin yung itsura ng circular folds na yan. Okay? Ganito siya. Okay? So, di ba? Ito siya. This one is a fold. This one is another fold. This one is another fold. Okay? So, that is the plicae circularis. Okay? When you look at this plicae, pag tinignan mo, meron pang folds dun sa mga folds na yon. Okay? Yung folds sa folds na yon, yun yung tinatawag naman nating villi. Diba? Your villi. Villi. Walang micro. Villi. Your villi are finger-like projections of the lamina propria. Okay? So this villi confers a velvety appearance to your small intestine and increases your surface area by around 10 times, no? So, pag in mo, di ba? Meron ka ng fold na ganyan kalalaki. And on the surface of those folds, meron ka pang folds. The folds are called villi. Okay? So, zoom in natin yung villi natin. Intestinal villus. Okay, your villus are projections of the lamina propria. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Ay, mag-zoom out. Okay. Okay. So, projection of the lamina propria siya, no? Okay. This is the lamina propria projecting there. Merong capillary network inside. Meron siyang capillary loops. Okay. So, itong villi na to, pag zoom in mo, yung cells lining this villi, meron pang cell surface modifications yung bawat cell, okay? And the cell surface modification sa ibabaw ng cell that is geared towards absorption is of course your microvilli, okay? Your microvilli are modifications of the cell surface of the surface are modifications of the cell membrane, 'di ba? Yung plicae circularis are folds of the mucosa. Your villi are folds of the lamina propria. Ito namang microvilli are folds of the cell membrane. Okay, so this microvilli increases your surface area by around 20 times, no? So pag pinag-compound mo yung increase in surface area at each level, that's around 400 to 600 times increase in surface area. Kasi yung folds mo, may folds pa, tapos yung may folds na yun, may folds pa ulit. Okay? So sobrang taas ng surface area in the small intestine because they want to maximize absorption. Okay? So, what are the cells found in the epithelium of your small intestine? You have your surface absorptive cells, your goblet cells, your enteroendocrine cells, and your microfold cells. No? So, yung surface absorptive cells, ito yung cells of the small intestine, yung enterocytes natin. And responsible for digestion and absorption, as well as esterification of fatty acids. So this is more on fat absorption. Okay? And then, of course, they also have goblet cells for lubrication because they secrete mucin. This goblet cell secrete are are there for protection. Okay? And then, you also have enteroendocrine cells that secretes endocrine hormones. And your M cells that are modified macrophages. Siyempre, no? So, kasi all over the body naman you have your modified macrophages. Okay? Next. So, yung lamina propria ng mga cells of the epithelium natin, meron ka makikitang, di ba yung small intestine natin, when you look at them closely, you have something called crypts of Leberkun, no? So, meron kang uh, deep recessions kasi puro folds to mga to, no? Uh, when you look at the crypts of the intestines, you see absorptive cells, you see stem cells, goblet cells, as well as Paneth cells. Okay, these are cells that secrete lysozymes, no? So sa lamina propria to nung cells of the epithelium. And then you also have muscularis mucosa. In the muscularis mucosa, dun sa layers of the intestine natin, you see Brunner's glands. No? So the Brunner's glands secrete mucus, of course, for lubrication, protection. Meron siyang IgA. And then it also secretes the hormone urogastrone. Okay, so this urogastrone is the one is secreted in order to inhibit hydrochloric acid secretion in the stomach. Okay, and it also stimulates mitosis of epithelial cells. Okay, so ano itsura? Stomach. This is small intestine. So, hindi ko lang natakpan yung head. So, small intestine, makikita nyo, yung small intestine is columnar epithelium. Okay, and when you zoom it closely, meron siyang intestinal, uh, uh, meron siyang microvilli, yung tinatawag natin. Okay, the apical ends of these enterocytes are covered by what we call a brush border. Brush border. Kasi mukha siyang brush. Okay. So, itong pangalawang picture naman, when you look at it closely, mas makikita mo yung microvilli niya. Okay? So, microvilli, you have goblet cells that secrete mucus, and your intestinal cells, your enterocytes that are columnar, no? Other cells that you can see, of course, your endocrine cells, pero mahirap silang i-identify in routine histologic sections. Okay? And then, on the right side naman, see? The foldings, no? Uh, so, itong P, these are the plicae circulares, mucosal folds of the intestine. Okay, mucosal folds of the intestine. Okay, plicae circulares. Yung folds atop your plicae circulares, ito yung villi lang. Villi, no? Not micro. Villi are the folds on the plicae circulares. Pag zoom in mo yung dulo ng villi, tinignan mo yung cells, ito ngayon yun. Yung may micro villi. Okay? So, these are the levels of surface modifications para mag-increase ng surface area. Okay? Plicae circulares, folds of the mucosa. Okay? Mucosa. Mucosa. Folds of the mucosa. So, may submucosa siya sa ilalim. Meron ka pa rin muscularis mucosa sa ilalim. Meron ka pa rin serosa sa ilalim. Okay? Folds of the mucosa, plicae circularis. Okay? Folds of the mucosa, plicae circularis. Folds of the lamina propria, it's the villi. Folds of the lamina propria is the villi. And then, the cell surface modifications are your microvilli. Okay? So next, you have your large intestine. Okay, so your large intestine is 1.5 meters long. Its primary absorption is its primary role is in the absorption of water and the compaction of feces. Okay, so primary role of large intestine is absorption of water. Absorption of everything else occurs in the small intestine primarily. Okay, that includes water. Okay, so yung small intestine mo nagre-reabsorb din siya ng water, no? Pero hindi siya yung may primary role nun. Ang may primary role nun is the large intestine. Okay? Pero dahil malaki yung small intestine mo, mahaba siya. It's 5 meters long. Siya pa rin yung mas maraming na-absorb na water. Okay? Yung mga natitirang water, para maging compact ang urine mo, ang nag-absorb nun is your large intestine. Okay? So, in your large intestine, wala nang villi. There's still crypts of Lieberkühn, pero wala nang Paneth cells. Okay? So, ano yung itsura ng large intestine? Diba? Meron siyang divisions. Okay? Cecum over here, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid, and then rectum and anus. Okay? So, ang key thing to remember regarding the structure of your large intestine is the muscularis externa is different from everybody else. Okay? Di ba sabi natin, muscularis externa, meron kang inner circular, outer longitudinal layer. So, sa large intestine, meron ka pa rin ng inner circular layers. Pero dito, yung longitudinal layer niya is discontinuous. Meron lang siyang three narrow ribbons of longitudinal muscle. You call it tenia coli. Okay? Yung parang linya na nakikita nyo dyan sa mga drawing ng colon nyo, that's your tinea coli. Okay? So, dahil ribbons lang siya, parang nahatak niya lang yung colon and pushes it into succulations. Kaya nagkakaroon siya ng mga paganyan. Okay? Because yung longitudinal muscle layer mo is just three ribbons. No? So, yung succulations na yan, you call it hostra or hostra coli. Okay? In reference to the colon. Okay? So, tandaan, the muscularis externa is discontinuous. Meron tayong tinea coli sa large intestine. Sa large intestine mo rin makikita naka-attach si appendix. So, yung convergence ng tatlong tinea coli, pag sinundan-sundan mo yung tatlong tinea coli, makikita mo si appendix doon. Okay? So, next. Okay? Yung outermost lining of your large intestine is serosa. Okay? Serosa. So, similar with your small intestine, your stomach, the outer lining is serosa. Okay? It's serosa with attachments of fat-filled pouches. May mga nakasabit na parang taba-taba dyan sa, ano natin, sa large intestine natin. And you call those pouches as appendices epiploicae. Okay? So, you have the cecum, okay? Merong ileocecal valve that restricts, that serves as a valve in between the ileum and the cecum. You have your cecum, ascending, and then transverse, descending, and then sigmoid until you reach the rectum. Okay, the rectum is similar to the colon, but it's straight. Uh, and it has fewer crypts na, no? And then after the rectum, you have your anal canal. Your anal canal is 3 to 4 centimeters long with relatively short crypts. And the mucosa of the anal canal displays longitudinal folds. Okay? And there are also glands, of course, found in the anal canal for lubrication para pag uh, ikaw ay nagde-defecate, mas smooth yung ano niya, paglabas niya. Okay? So, kapag ikaw ay So, so, ito yung itsura ng colon natin underneath the microscope. Okay? So, kita nyo yung muscularis externa. Ang kapal-kapal niya. Outside is serosa. Sa mucosa to. This one is the mucosa. Okay? So ito yung uh, itsura ng transverse section ng colon natin. Okay? This one is transversely cut glands, mainly made up of simple columnar epithelium. So, nakikita mo yung lumen ng mga glands na nakat, no? So, these glands are embedded in the lamina propria of your colon. And then this one, um, cut section lang din, where you see intestinal glands, no? Oh. So, and goblet cells. Okay? So, itong colon talaga natin, marami siyang lubrication. Kasi when you're trying to make your feces, syempre gusto mo tuloy-tuloy, no? Matiwasay yung pag-flow niya along the colon. So, maraming glands talaga in the colon. Okay? So, now let's go into the accessory digestive organs. Kasi tapos mo nang gawin yung pagkain mo, tapos mo na rin gawin um, yung iyong feces, no? So, meron tayong mga parts of the digestive system that is not part of the tract, but they have several functions but they produce things or they serve several functions in the digestive system. Okay? So, the first of your accessory digestive organs are your salivary glands, no? Your salivary glands surround the oral cavity, and the function, of course, is to make saliva. Okay, your saliva is there to moisten the food that you eat, to lubricate the passage of this food along the digestive tract, and start the enzymatic digestion of carbohydrates. Kasi di ba sabi natin kanina, your saliva contains salivary amylase. Okay, amylase acts on amylose and amylopectin. No? So, begin preliminary digestion of polysaccharides into shorter and shorter polysaccharides and disaccharides. Okay? Your salivary glands also produces lysozymes and an IgA, which is a type of antibody found in your secretions for protection. No? So, kaya nga yung, ano mo, kaya nga yung, di ba, pag nagkasugat ka, di ba, minsan, ang instinct mo, didilaan mo yung sugat mo kasi merong secretory IgA, yung iyong, ah, yung iyong laway. So, meron siyang lysozymes. Meron din siyang IgA. No? So, next. What are the cell types seen in your salivary glands? You have serous, you have mucus, you have myoepithelial cells, as well as other cell types. No? So, serous cells produces watery secretion. Mucus cells is, of course, mucoid, parang sipon, no? Bakit siya bumubukas ang aking flash? Okay? And then, of course, myoepithelial cells are contractile cells para pag mag-contract siya, lalabas yung secretions ng salivary glands, as well as other cells that help produce the constituents of your saliva. For example, your plasma cells responsible for making the IgA being mixed into your salivary and into your salivary secretions. Okay? So, yung salivary glands natin, there are actually three major salivary glands, then a lot of minor salivary glands. No? So, as far as anatomy is concerned, we have three major that you have to remember. Your parotid glands, your submandibular or submaxillary glands, and your sublingual glands. Okay? Your parotid gland, you have one on each side of the face. Siya yung yung located sa may harap ng panga mo. Okay? Sa may harap ng tenga mo, doon sa may bad ng panga, no? These parotid glands open into the cheek. Okay? So, kunyari, di ba ito yung, ano ba ito gawin? Kunyari, ganyan yung bibig mo, no? You have your teeth over here. May uvula ka doon, etc. Okay? So, ito yung cheek mo, diba? Sa cheek mo, dyan nag-open sa gilid ng cheek mo yung parotid gland into the opening of the Stenson's duct. The opening of the Stenson's duct is opposite the second upper molar tooth, no? So doon lumalabas yung secretions ng parotid gland that is located dito sa may cheeks mo, no? So, and the secretion type is serous or watery. Okay? Parotid gland, Stenson's duct, serous or watery secretion. Okay? Parotid gland, Stenson's duct, serous or watery secretion. Okay? Another gland is your submandibular gland. Sub, ibig sabihin, nasa ilalim ng mandible or ng maxilla. Submandibular or submaxillary gland opens into what you call the Wharton's duct. Submandibular, submaxillary gland opens into the Wharton's duct. And the type of secretion is actually seromucus. Okay? Medyo may halong malapot sa malabnaw. May watery and mucoid. In fact, majority of your saliva is made by the submandibular gland. Okay? Seromucus, S, tsaka M, submandibular. Okay? Submandibular, submaxillary, S, tsaka M, mucus secretion. Okay? So, it's mixed. Next, you have your sublingual glands. Your sublingual glands, nasa ilalim ng dila. Okay? Kasi below, lingua refers to the tongue. Okay? It opens into the ducts of Ravenous. It only produces around 5% of your saliva. Okay? The secretions of your sublingual glands are mostly mucus. Okay? So, around 5% lang ng saliva mo yung pinoproduce actually by your sublingual glands. Okay? So, the type of saliva you produce depends on what arm of the immune system, of the nervous system is active, no? Kapag normal digestion, parasympathetic, yung active, the saliva is more serous. Okay? Pero pag ikaw ay natatakot or pag ikaw ay kinakabahan, ganun, natatakot ka, kinakabahan ka, nasa-stress ka, your saliva becomes more mucoid, 'di ba? Kaya nga 'di ba pag nanonood ka ng horror, 'di ba, bigla silang lulunok ng ano kasi kinakabahan sila ganun. Kasi nag-increase yung saliva production nila. But the type of saliva being produced at that time is different from the type of saliva being produced when you are eating. Oh, okay? So, doon, sa part na yun, mucoid yung saliva na nilulunok ng mga bida sa mga horror. Okay? So, next. So, you have the appearance of your glands, no? Underneath the microscope. So, tatandaan nyo, depende sa glands na to, puro paikot-ikot lang naman yan. Siyempre, may lumen, tapos may duct. May duct, tapos may lumen sa gitna. Okay? Yung mga glands natin. Okay? Pero tatandaan nyo yung itsura. Pag mas mucoid yung pinoproduce na secretion, mas maputi, mas mukha siyang popcorn. Okay? Mas mukhang popcorn. So, pag mucoid, mapuputi yung itsura. Okay? So, kunyari, sa sublingual glands natin, di ba, mostly mucoid yung secretion niya. So, the glands, mas maputi yung itsura niya underneath the microscope. Okay? Mas maputi yung itsura niya. So, submandibular glands, you can see, it's a mix of serous and mucus. So, yung mucus portion, mapuputi siya. The parts that make the serous portion, mas eosinophilic siya or mas stained siya. Okay? The serous portion is more stained. Okay? So, parotid gland mo, since this is mostly serous, di ba? Mas kita mo na stained mostly yung salivary glands mo. Okay? So, so yung asinine na gumagawa ng ducts mo is stained. Okay? Kapag sa parotid. Because this is mostly serous. Okay? So, submandibular or submaxillary, merong stained, merong mas pale staining because this is mucus. Sa sublingual gland, this is mostly mucus. This is mostly mucus. Kaya less pale staining na yung mga cells in the sublingual gland. Okay? So next accessory digestive organ is your pancreas. No? So dito sa portion na to ng pancreas natin, your pancreas kasi is a very versatile organ. No? Hindi lang siya for exocrine secretion, hindi lang siya ginagamit for digestion. No? Meron din siyang endocrine function. So the endocrine function of the pancreas will be discussed when we go into the endocrine system. No? So for now, let's discuss the function of your pancreas. No? So your pancreas, as far as digestive function is concerned, no? So you have your pancreatic acinar cells and your centroacinar cells. So these are the cell types involved when you are making your hydrolytic enzymes in your pancreas, no? They synthesize a wide variety of enzymes that hydrolyze basically everything that you eat, no? So it can hydrolyze proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acids, no? So proteases, nandito si trypsin, nandito si chymotrypsin, nandito si proteases, of course, produced in zymogen form, trypsinogen. Okay? So, and then you also have your disaccharidases, no? Your amylases. Meron tayong pancreatic amylase, di ba? So, yung amylase, makikita mo siya sa salivary glands, makikita mo rin siya sa pancreas. Okay? And then, yung lipids, it also produces lipase, no? So, itong amylase saka sa lipase, tatandaan nyo to. Kasi as medtecs, very important to. Okay? In the setting of pancreatitis, kunyari, namamaga yung pancreas ng pasyente mo, ang tataas ang level ng amylase and lipase nila sa blood. Bakit? Kasi yung pancreas mo, 'di ba, your pancreas made up of pancreatic acinar cells. So kapag namamaga yung pancreatic acinar cells, masisira sila. So yung amylase and lipase inside the pancreatic acinar cells, napupunta sila sa dugo. So pag napunta sila sa dugo, matataas yung level of amylase and lipase in the blood and you can test for that. So, pag tinest mo yung dugo ng patient na may pancreatitis, pagtas na-detect mo na mataas yung amylase and lipase niya, that person, you know that person has pancreatitis. So, hindi mo siya kailangang dut-dut-dut-dutin sa physical exam. Alam mo, namamaga, yung pancreas niya yung dahilan bakit siya namimilipit sa sakit dyan. So, you now know what to do. Yeah, well, the doctors will now know what to do and how to manage that patient. Kasi nalaman nila na mataas yung amylase and lipase niya, meron siyang pancreatitis. Okay, so uh, yun yung application itong enzymes found inside your pancreas, no? So, next. Your pancreatic acinar cells produce also zymogen granules, no? So, zymogen, syempre inactive form pa lang yung enzymes natin kasi these enzymes are very strong and they can digest everything, including your proteins, no? Uh, so yung zymogen granules na to, the release is triggered by a hormone called cholecystokinin. Okay, this cholecystokinin is one of the hormones being released dun sa stomach, di ba? From the uh, uh, from the stomach, uh, uh, from the enteroendocrine cells, not only of the stomach, but also of the small intestine. Okay? Next, so pancreatic acinar cells, ang nire-release niya ay digestive enzymes. Okay? Kung may tatandaan kayo, digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes, most important of the digestive enzymes, amylase and lipase. Okay? Next, you also have your centroacinar cells. Itong centroacinar cells, hindi enzymes ang binirelease, it's bicarbonate fluid. Bakit kailangan ng bicarbonate fluid? Bicarbonate fluid is needed, syempre, to neutralize the acidity of the chyme that enters the small intestine. 'Di ba si food mo, galing siya sa stomach, tapos pumunta siya sa small intestine, that chyme is very, very acidic kasi galing siya sa stomach mo na ang pH is 0 to 2. Okay, so pag pumunta yung chyme na yun, tapos pumunta siya sa small intestine na walang bicarbonate yung small intestine mo, na hindi siya na-neutralize, baka butasin niya yung small intestine mo, no? Kasi sobrang acidic niya pa din. So, bicarbonate-rich fluid is secreted by the pancreas in order to neutralize that acidity. Okay? At the same time, pag na-neutralize niya na, magiging mas favorable na yung environment for the other digestive enzymes secreted by the pancreas. Kasi yung mga enzymes natin, meron silang optimum pH at which they can operate. No? So, double purpose tong flow of production of bicarbonate fluid in the pancreas. No? It neutralizes the acidity of food from the stomach and as well as makes it more favorable for the pancreatic digestive enzymes to act. Okay? So, ano itsura ng pancreas natin underneath the microscope? Okay? So, more of ganun din, no? You have acini, okay? You have acini, meron kang fibroblasts producing the small amounts of connective tissue surrounding. Okay? Each acynus is drained by an intercalated duct. Hindi siya pictured in this picture. No, uh, so, 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 basically, ganyan lang din naman yung itsura, mostly, ng mga cells natin kapag merong pag-glandular epithelium, di ba? Meron kang mga acini, tapos they lead into ducts, and the ducts form larger ducts until mapunta siya dun sa ducts of the major ducts of the pancreas. Yung major pancreatic duct of Wirsung and the accessory pancreatic duct of Santorini. Okay, so nandito yung mga acinar cells of the pancreas mo, di ba? So, puproduce sila until makapunta sa major ducts. Okay? Ng secretion sila. Pumunta siya sa major duct of Wirsung. Okay? The duct of Wirsung and the Santorini, they both empty into the second portion of the duodenum. Okay, so tapos yung pagkain mo galing sa stomach, pumupunta din sa duodenum. So dito sila makikita sa second portion. Okay? And then that is where your digestion will occur. So next, you have your liver. Okay, so the liver is the largest gland in the body. It's covered by a thin capsule called the Gleason's capsule. And the predominant cell or the parenchyma of your liver is called the hepatocyte. Okay? The hepatocytes are separated. Three layers of hepatocytes are separated by hepatic sinusoids. So yung liver mo napaka multi-talented nito. No, um it's involved in the enzymatic processing of absorbed nutrients. Majority Kapag hindi mo alam yung sagot, kung tinanong ako sa bio, saan ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay sa katawan mo, gumagawa ng glucose, gumagawa ng ganto, ganyan, ng proteins, default answer, liver. Okay, so your liver is responsible for most of your biochemical processes, enzymatic processing of absorbed nutrients. It's also involved in detoxification, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na first pass effect. Pag uminom ka ng gamot, dadaan siya sa liver. So, the liver will make sure that your drugs are safe. I-detoxify niya muna kung meron mang harmful. Kaya, bago kumalat yung drug na yun sa system mo. And then, it's also involved in the synthesis of important proteins like your coagulation factors, as well as in the synthesis of bile. Your bile is needed in order to emulsify your fats, no? Kasi yung fats mo are lipid soluble. Your digestive enzymes are water soluble. Sabi natin, in order to dissolve something, it has to have the same polarity kasi like dissolves like. Okay, so hindi parehas ng polarity yung digestive enzymes mo at yung iyong fats. So how do you make them similar? You add bile. Okay, the bile will make your fats more polar para pwede na siyang gamitan ng digestive enzymes. Okay? And then your liver can also serve as a storage site for glucose. So in the form of liver glycogen, it also serves as a storage site of fat as well as your vitamin A. Your vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, kaya siya na-store din sa liver along with your fats. Okay? Okay? Your liver also storage of iron in complex with the ferritin. Eh, no? So maraming functions yung liver natin. So kaya liver is a very important organ. Buti na lang it's very resilient, no? Madalang naman yung nagkaka-liver failure unless araw-araw kang lumalaklak ng alak or lumaklak ka ng 20 banig ng paracetamol, no? So hindi naman siya uh, it's a very resilient organ and it can regenerate. It has a high regenerative capacity. Okay? So what are the cell types seen in your liver? The major one is your hepatocyte. Your hepatocytes are polygonal cells uh, with numerous granules and glycogen granules and lipid droplets. Okay, so yung hepatocyte, yung major parenchymal cell of your liver. Okay, so ito yung itsura niya. Ito, ayan. That one, each one of that is a hepatocyte. So tatlong hepatocyte na yun, uh, are separated into sinusoids. Okay? So yun yung organization ng liver natin. Your hepatocytes are separated into sinusoids. Okay? So discuss natin yan later on pag view natin closer. And then another cell type is your Kupffer cells. Your Kupffer cells are modified macrophages. Okay? Found between your sinusoidal endothelial cells. These Kupffer cells, di ba, sabi natin, derived from blood monocytes. Ang purpose nila, of course, is for detoxification. Okay? Kasi they also have phagocytic activity. Okay? Panglinis ng mga dumadaan sa liver. Okay? Your liver also has fat storing cells. These fat storing cells are of course for storage of fat and fat soluble vitamins like your vitamin A. Okay? So, nung itsura ng liver natin, ganito. Okay? So, sa liver natin, meron tayong organization tinatawag na, di ba, hepatic sinusoids. Okay? So, yung liver natin, ah, ah, you generally look for lobules when you look at the organization, no? And then you look for what you call the portal triad. So when may hahanapin kayo sa liver, you look for the portal triad as well as the central vein. Okay? Yun yung hahanapin nyo pag tumingin kayo ng slide ng liver. The portal triad and the central vein. Okay? Central vein, siya lang yung mag-isa doon sa gitna nung plates of hepatocytes natin. Okay? The central vein, uh, siya yung nasa gitna ng plates of hepatocyte natin. Tapos, and the periphery of those plates of hepatocytes, you see pockets of your portal triad. So, ano yung laman ng portal triad? Portal vein, hepatic arteriole, as well as the bile duct. Okay? portal vein, hepatic artery, bile duct. Okay? Huwag na kayo malito dito sa L. May lymph vessels dyan. Portal triad refers to portal vein, hepatic artery, and the bile duct. Okay? Portal vein, hepatic artery, and bile duct. Yan yung makikita nyo. Artery or arterial, bile duct or ductule. So, laging package deal tong tatlong to. Okay? When you look at the structure of your liver. Okay? And then, you have a separate vein, which is the central vein. Okay? So, next, you have your gallbladder, the last of your accessory digestive organs. So, your gallbladder is a blind sac attached to the lower surface of the liver. So, kung ito yung liver mo, let's draw your liver. Okay? Meron kang gallbladder sa ilalim niyan. Okay? The gallbladder uh, stores, concentrates, and releases bile in response to the hormone cholecystokinin. Okay? Kasi kapag kunyari, kumain ka ng fatty food, so madedetect yun na fatty yung pagkain. There will be release of cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin will trigger the contraction of your gallbladder. The gallbladder contracts and releases bile into the second portion of the duodenum. Similar din, di ba? Sa pancreas natin, second portion siya nagde-drain into. Kasi, yung pancreas mo, nasa kanya naman yung digestive enzyme. O yung mga lipase, di ba? The enzyme comes from the pancreas, the bile comes from the gallbladder, it can also come from the liver. Okay? So, pag yung concentrated form nung bile natin, galing siya sa gallbladder. Okay? So, what are the layers of your gallbladder? You have, of course, your mucosa muscularis, adventitia, and serosa. So, similar lang din sa the other organs of the digestive tract. Simple columnar with abundant apical microvilli. So, itong gallbladder natin, meron din siyang brush border. Kasi marami siyang microvilli. Okay? Brush border. So, ano yung may brush border natin? So far, your small intestine and your gallbladder. Okay? The muscularis layer of your gallbladder is smooth muscle responding to cholecystokinin. Okay? It's triggered by dietary fat. Yun yung sinabi ko kanina. Di ba? Pag kumain ka ng dietary fat. And then, the outermost layer of your gallbladder is a mixture. Some of it is, yung free surface niya is covered by serosa. Yung attachment niya to the liver itself is adventitia. Okay, so dalawang klase sa gallbladder. Hindi kagaya sa stomach, sa small intestine, sa large intestine, the outermost covering is serosa. Dito, adventitia and serosa, different portions. So, para siyang sa esophagus. Diba? Sa esophagus, above the diaphragm, it's adventitia. Below the diaphragm, it's serosa. Dito, sa gallbladder, yung attachment to the liver is adventitia. The free surface is serosa. No? So, ito yung itsura ng gallbladder natin. No? So, meron kang projections, meron ka ding microvilli. Kaya siya merong brush border. Meron tayong mga Rokitansky-Askov sinuses. Okay? Rokitansky-Askov sinuses, yung mga bilog-bilog sa pagitan ng lamina propria ng gallbladder natin. And then, of course, underneath is the uh, 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 underneath is the muscularis and the adventitia. Okay? So, ito yung itsura ng gallbladder. So itong gallbladder natin, di ba? It concentrates, stores, and releases bile, no? So, yung pag kino-concentrate natin ng bile na to, pag matagal na siya na-imbak doon, it can form gallstones, no? So, yung gallstones na yun, usually, kahit may gallstones ka, okay lang naman kung meron, no? Basta hindi siya symptomatic, okay? O basta hindi siya nagkukos ng pain. Minsan kasi yung gallstones mo, pag kunyari napunta siya dito, tapos binarahan niya, di ba may smooth muscle tong gallbladder mo? Kapag may kumain ka ng diet ng pagkain na mataas in dietary fat, ang gagawin ng gallbladder mo in response to cholecystokinin, magko-contract siya. Pero kapag meron kang bato na nakabara dyan, tataas yung pressure, kaya sumasakit yan. Okay? Minsan may infect ba, magkakaroon ka ng cholecystitis. So, so kung may gallbladder stones ka, tapos hindi naman siya masakit, okay lang, kung nandito lang siya banda sa baba. Pero minsan, when they, kapag nakaharang na siya sa may exit of the bile or kapag sa may neck, o kaya kapag tumutusok na siya dun sa balls, kaya nagkakaroon ka ng pain when you eat fatty food sa gallbladder, no? So, your gallbladder is not very necessary naman, no? So, mabubuhay ka naman ng walang gallbladder. Kaya nga, di ba, yung mga tinatanggalan ng gallstones, hindi naman nila tinatanggal yung gallstones lang. Pag nagka-gallstones ka na, tatanggalin na nila yung buong gallbladder mo kung symptomatic ka na, no? So, hindi naman nila kunin natin yung stones tapos yung gallbladder iwan natin. No, that's not happen. Usually, kasama ng tinatanggal yung buong gallbladder para hindi na babalik yung gallstones, no? So, kahit tanggalin mo yung gallbladder, okay lang kasi your liver also produces bile. Actually, your liver is the one that primarily produces bile. Pag pinroduce niya yung bile, sa kanya lang dadalhin papunta ng gallbladder, tapos doon niya iso-store and concentrate. So, kahit wala kang gallbladder, actually, your liver will make up for it kasi siya naman talaga yung gumagawa ng bile. Gallbladder is just for storage. Okay? So, that's the end of the lecture. Are there any questions regarding the topic? Okay, so it's 7:40. Mauubusan tayo ng oras. I don't think we have enough time for grades consultation today, no? So, pero tapos naman na yung, i-try ko na lang i-publish yung scores nyo para makita nyo kung alan yung standing nyo. Tapos next week tayo mag-grades consultation kasi I'm sure hindi pa rin kayo kumakain kasi ang haba na lecture natin, no? Sorry about that. So, next week quiz natin is respiratory and digestive. So, madali lang naman. Basic lang yung tatanong ko. Tapos, ano pa ba? Ah, yung regarding sa possible corrections ng exam, check ko na lang din meron, kung may for consideration. Pero yung, kunyari, sabi ko, singular lang. So, isipin ko pa kung papagbigyan ko yung mga naglagay ng S. Okay? So, ah and then, i-publish ko na lang din yung scores nyo for the midterms and the other quizzes. Okay? So, Uh, if so thank you so much for listening. That's it for the lecture for today and have a nice day.